Mr. Samuel Kojo, Darko. He's a financial specialist with the World Bank and also the ECOWAS Regional Off-Grid Electricity Access Project. So welcome to both of you. If we can spotlight them and then we begin. Just like the other two panel sessions, we have about 5 questions, but I think if it's okay, Mr. Kojo, also, if I can prioritize the first initial questions for Dr. Kwairanga, because I believe he's bereaved and he will need to step away in the next 10 minutes because he's lost somebody in the family and he's attending to a few visitors. So thank you very much for your understanding. Welcome, sir, Dr. Kwairanga and Mr. Samuel Kojo. And unmute. Okay, yeah, you're about to be unmuted now.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much,
thank you.
Dr. Bello. Nice being on this panel. I want to appreciate the good work that you have been doing. I look at the participants. So first of all, let me thank you for the good work that you are doing, and to say that for us in the finance industry, we are always looking for this type of innovations, this type of program, so that at least we can be able to extend the small contributions we are making in the capital market. As you said, I'm the group chairman of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. I'm a stockbroker by profession, and I'm on the board of so many organizations, both quoted and unquoted companies on not only the Nigerian Stock Exchange, including the London Stock Exchange and the Joburg Stock Exchange. So it's nice to be here.
Yes, thank you. Welcome, sir. I'll go straight into your questions and then I'll come to Mr. Samuel Kojo also. I want to know in the beginning now, in terms of companies and organizations, we have so many entrepreneurs here and startup companies and etc. How can companies foster organizational cultures in order to prioritize sustainability, but also making sure that innovation and financial profitability is carried along basically for you as a leader?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bello. First of all, let me confess that I'm not a fintech expert, but I'm a capital market operator, and I happen to be a professional in that field. As you said, issue of innovations, organizations have to accept that we are in a digital age. As of today, so whatever the strategy, organizations have to tailor that toward achieving to fit and proper, where technology is in front and always at the center. This will entail having an innovation mindset, investing in technology and tech-savvy staff, and putting in place strong risk management practices. So organization will go a long way. I will give you an example. Of recent, the Central Bank of Nigeria introduced what we call the new capital requirements for all our banks, where they increase the capitalization for different type of banks, both the ones that are regional, the other that are national, the other are international. Most of the banks, I can say 80% are quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. In those days, when they are going to raise capital, and any other organization that is here, at least with us in this program, you would realize that we used to bring out so many documents when you are reading this, the prospectus, what we call the market document, you are used to package, and which requires that additional stock funding on those documentations, you start sharing. But the issue of the technology, what we did at Nigerian Stock Exchange, we introduced what we call XREL. It's a technology solution, whereby organization will just key in at the comfort of your bed, in your office, while you are traveling, while you are even on board, that can be able to give you access directly, that you can be able to, through various platforms that we have, which is part of the innovations, which is part of the technology. So we raise trillions of capital of the organizations in the history of the Nigerian banking sector, and I think the Africa in general. What we did, this innovation, that technology that we brought goes a long way to reduce the paper documentations, to reduce the issue of deposit, to reduce the time that it will take. And it's through these innovations that we're able to do that. So when you look at Fair Money, when you look at this OPay, when you look at Money Point, these are all online banking, micro loans, And even the picky vest that we are taking of, these are like advisory, robo-advisory services that in terms of the issue of the fintech, and that have transformed industries, like the way you have said, and shake up the established traditional institutions that they talk that they are big, they are too big to fail, but innovation have shown. Today, when you look at the customers of OPay, can be able to compete with the biggest banks. So the issue of bricks and mortar, people have already left that. So technology, issue of thinking have walked a long way to add value to the all industries, both those that are quoted on the stock exchange and those that are not even quoted. And I believe I will use this opportunity to say that the era of having that mindset is already gone. When you look at the younger generations as of today, when you look at the organizations have already gone far, people have already not only imbibed the culture of the fintech, but they don't have option that to buy the ideas. Even the regulators, when we started talking of most of these investment outlets, that people felt that before that they don't want to participate into that. At the end of the people have realized that based on the regulators, the operators doesn't have option. These are all fintech, that innovations have already coming into our market. And even when you look at, sorry, I'm even trying to digress, the US government of today, when Trump just announced that he has won the election, you can see how those innovation, how those fintech solutions have already all gone up. So that's the future. That's the future of the industries. So organization doesn't have option than just to key into that digital age and tailor whatever investment, whatever strategy, whatever plans they have, so that they can fit in to the current world technology, and they have to make sure that these are the strong risk management practices are there, the service staff are there, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a win-win. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And I think this is very, very powerful introduction that you've given, because as you said, it's not just in terms of managing efficiency of the bureaucracy within the financial sector and space, but it's also about building the next first banks, the next access banks and all that, using digital innovation that we're seeing now, especially in Africa. And I think with this now, let me move into and connect this to the enterprise panel that we had earlier. We're talking about sustainability in enterprise. And for this, I know that there's a lot of green money, so to speak, and eco-friendly money, sustainability money that exists around the world. We just had COP29, and we had UNGA also. They keep talking about so much financing that needs to go into sustainability and sustainability projects, basically. So for you, speaking to the entrepreneurs that exist here and also companies that we engage with, how do you think they can better position themselves to access this sustainable financing, but also in a way that it achieves the SDGs that we have as directed by the UN?
Okay, thank you very, very much, Doctor. I believe hundreds of entrepreneurs that are here and are even listening to us, I think this is a very good platform for them to start venturing into all those UN sustainability programs that can be able to give a lot of access of funding. Today, we have trillions of dollars that are lying down there, waiting for people to fulfill, organizations to fulfill all the requirements. When you look at the GoFund, I think the GoFundMe, which is one of the products, like is a crowdfunding, whereby organizations can be able to leverage on that so that they can start those type of ventures. In addition to that, when you are leveraging fintech as part of the benefit to access like the younger generations that we are taking off, which are around the clock services, the wider reach that they have, and at the lower cost, you don't have option that to key in to all these UN ESG programs. Of recent, there is this UNGA that maybe you have been trying to make reference to. We attended that UNGA. So many countries with the heads of government were there, but there were a lot of entrepreneurs. We went with different people that what we did, like from the Stock Exchange to key into the ESG. What we did, we purchased some organizations. We went with them to the UNGA, and a program has been attended so that at least, which was even chaired by the Deputy Secretary General of the UN, so that people can be able to assess and see how they can be able to at least leverage on all those financing options that has been already packaged all over the world. So the march to digitalization, this new approach, has already gone a long way to say that technology plays a greater role in fostering the transparency, which is part of the requirement for the ESG, by removing human bias and inefficiencies. These are all new innovations that have already come in. So once, if the processes and procedures have been followed, once, if the system is correctly tested, the human element is being kept to the minimum, I think technology ensures that the data that you have are kept as long as they are needed. I think people can be able to assess those type of requirements of the ESG funding. They are there lined up. A lot of organizations are now already assessing those type of funding. And I think it's an opportunity for people that are participating into this to key in into all these let me say investment outlets that can be able to at least meet up to the requirements of the organizations. And I think once we have already keyed into that, it's just a matter of time. People can be able to see the success story. And that's one of the major objectives. That's why the UN is already pushing for that ESG, not only at the headquarters and at the various countries all over the world.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And I think this is very much, you're hitting it on the head. We see that it's mostly governments and big corporations that access this funding. But what you're saying is that even all the way down to the MSME level, they can also key into those finances. Exactly. And I think
once the reporting standard for the ESG that you are packaging are comprehensive and are appropriate, and those requirements are easily adhered to, I think you can be able to access those type of fundings. And I believe for us, for the Nigerian organization that are here, we are even packaging something for the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and I believe we can partner with Tungsten so that all those organizations that are on board, so that we can be able to see how they can be able to access those type of fundings through the UN ESG programs.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much, sir. And I think it's also for us, that's why even all the entrepreneurs, we make sure that they hit as many SDG goals as possible, and also pushing the ESG mantra, so to speak, gradually in all of their startups. And I think on that note, I know, as I said, you are bereaved, and I won't take much of your time. I think we can land here. Any final words that you have?
Well, for me, let me state that for the industries that are here, I believe we have reached a level whereby there is a lot of opportunities that is in the Nigerian capital market and the world in general. I think for you as a Tungsten, what I expect is this type of education, this type of training, this type of program, so that people can be able to see the benefit. From where I'm coming from, I've seen banks that were giving requirements to raise those capital, like I said at the beginning. Where we are thinking that before it's impossible. Within 2-3 months, no organization that have not raised oversubscribed even what they are looking for. So the funding are there, both locally and internationally. And I believe once businesses have mastered those strengths, that will be that they'll be able to access new funding sources and new market for their goods and services, and remain competitive and sustainable in the future. So once more, thank you very much for this opportunity. You can count on me any. What I intend to do is to discuss the issue of the digitalization of finance that is even influencing the regulatory framework, even to see how organizations can leverage such fintech innovations, and to make sure at the end of the day, people are keying into the program that you have set for today, and what we can be able to do from the panel so that we can be able to at least, and to encourage all to come on board so that we'll all be on the same level. The era of digitalization is here. You either key in or you are kicked out. It's just like a moving train. You either join or it's going to clear you. So it's an opportunity that we can target people like you. Today, when people look at you, Dr. Bello, as of today, with all humility, what we are able to achieve in bringing the type of people I've seen today on this program, that will go a long way. If we can have 5 or 10 of you, and this is the target from the Nigerian Stock Exchange, to catch them young, to make sure that at the end of the day, today we have a population like in Nigeria of over 220 million. We have investing public that are less than 200,000. which is totally unacceptable. And what we are trying to do is to see if we are even going to copy what are other countries doing that we are not doing, that we are not leveraging on that retail investor. And I believe industries will take a cue so that they can be able to see what are the products that we have that they can be able to assess and key in. And I think with this type of program, we can be able to at least come together so that we can work as a team, partner with some of those industries so that we can be able to, both of us, add value to our various organizations. So once more, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody that is listening. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you very much, sir. And that was very encouraging. This was Dr. Umaru Kwairanga, the chairman of the Nigerian Stock Exchange Group, with many other things. His portfolio and profile is too big, so I won't be able to.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir. And condolences also.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. We'll proceed with Samuel Kojo. Darko, thank you for being patient. We have about 2 more questions in the next few minutes. So welcome, Mr. Samuel Kojo. And for you, I know we talked about sustainability with the previous speaker, but in terms of impact investing, for instance, especially socially, how can organizations, from your experience, how can organizations access impact investors, basically, because they do exist around the world? And also, what do impact investors prioritize, or what do they look for in order to provide capital for such projects? Oh, sorry, you're about to be unmuted. Yes. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome,
okay,
sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to fellow panelists and also people joining. Just to also clarify that I do not work for the World Bank per se. I work on their project, and I'm an independent consultant, so I will not classify me as a staff there. Yeah, but of course we do interact with the World Bank officials every now and then, especially in the project reporting and stuff like that. Yeah. So to the question, how or what is impact investing and how could companies assess impact investors? So just by the name, or just like the name suggests, impact investors, they are really looking at the impact or the outcome of their investment. Of course, others also look at the financial returns. Okay, so there are different categories of impact investors. We have the development financial institutions or development organizations like the World Bank or the African Development Bank and all these development organizations. They are basically really looking at the impact only, but we have also commercial investors who are also into the impact space. They also look, apart from the impact investing they're also looking at the financial returns. Yeah. So basically that is what impact investing is looking at. But depending on the type of the investor or impact investor, they will place some kind of emphasis on this, either impact, environmental or social impact, or financial returns. Okay, and you mentioned what do they look for? They are looking at their priority areas. So as an impact investor, what your priority area? Others could be education. Okay, so for example, they want people in deprived communities to be well educated. So they are looking at that. And then also others could be looking at social inclusion, gender inclusivity. Okay, so that could be their concentration, or that could be their main focus. Others could be also looking at environment, healthcare, and what have you. Yes, so for companies to assess impact, in fact, there are several of them now, and they have a lot of funds available for impact investing. It is being estimated that around $1.2 trillion is available in the impact space for green and impact investing. But for companies to assess this, in fact, working with our current project, we are really trying to finance companies, SMEs, and medium-sized companies and big ones as well, to assess some kind of funding, if you like green funding, to be able to increase renewable energy, access to less privileged people or the marginalized people in the rural communities. Yes. So to be able to access this funding, first of all, you need to align your operations to their key target areas. So, for example, if you're a company and you want to access impact investors, then you have to clearly align your objectives. Are you really focused on education or the health sector or social inclusion or even renewable energy or environmental stuff? Okay. So if you clearly align that, then you are able to, assess, or you are pre-qualified, so to speak. Because, for example, in our work or in our project, we periodically issue call for proposal for companies who are into solar. So I read a lot of proposals, from Nigeria, from Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ghana, and I try to find out whether these proposals are in sync with our project objectives. That is, trying to reach the last mile community in clean, sustainable energy access. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that to be able to access this type of funding, and like the previous speaker just mentioned, there are a lot of funds available now. However, these companies are not investment ready. The SMEs, especially, of course, the SMEs predominate, in Africa here, and these funds are available, but they are not investment ready. However, I'm saying that to get these monies, you need to align your operations to these objectives or these focus areas. Also, of course, you have to also, look at the team that you're working with, because for impact investors, or of course, any other investor, they really look at the team that you are really working with. Do they have the competence, skills to manage the fund? Do they have the relevant experience? Okay, so these are some of the things that these impact investors really look at when they are evaluating. And then, of course, if it's the investor is has a financial focus in terms of returns on equity, then they're looking at your financials, whether for the past few years or few months, or even for a projected number of years or months ahead, the project that you want to really undertake has some kind of investment returns. Yeah. So that would be my response to your question.
Yeah, thank you. And I think as we were speaking, I was trying to think back at the other panelists, and even Dr. Kwairanga, when he was talking about sustainability financing and all that. Is it right to align maybe impact investing with SDG investing? Am I right to think that way, or is there a mismatch, or to what extent do they align? Because most times when you hear impact investing, you think social impact and things like that. But maybe if you can help clarify.
Okay. Okay. So sustainable finance or sustainable investing is the bigger domain, trying to ensure the flow of funds to the sustainable goals. So the 17 SDGs and channeling funds that are consistent with this, the implementation or the achievement of these SDGs, we call that sustainable finance. Okay. The impact investor will take some few of them. I mentioned that he's saying that you're looking at the social and environmental. Okay. So not economic necessarily, but sustainable finance will include economic improvement or economic development. It also include environmental, also include social and stuff like that. Okay. So by impact investors are looking at the environment impact. How is the funding going to have a resultant impact on the environment? How is my funding going to have a resultant impact on the society? Okay, so impact investors really look at these two, items, if you like, and its impact. Unlike a bigger sustainable finance, circles where you're looking about all the stuff. Okay, that really fulfills everything about the sustainable development goals. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good clarification. Because sometimes as I said, for us, we try to make sure that there is positive impact, at least SDG wise, but also, as you said, the impact may not be quite SDG wise. That sustainability financing and investing is like the bigger one, and then there are more particular ones.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes. So my next question will be, I know we have just 7 minutes to go, but the next question will be on digital platforms. As we're saying now, well, as when you said, some of the access to those financing will have to be digital. Or as Dr. Kwairanga said, on GoFundMe and platforms where you don't have to travel to go and meet those investors. So my question will be on how are digital platforms currently enhancing financial inclusion and also enabling access to sustainable investment opportunities from what you have seen so far? And maybe if at all, is there anything that can be done better? I wonder.
Thank you for this good question. So we know from traditional point of view that financing channeled through the banks, the brick and mortar approach, okay? And we also know, especially in Africa, when you're talking about brick and mortar banking, marginalized groups are largely excluded, okay?
Yeah.
But the sustainable finance, and we have a target of 2030 to meet. So by 2030, we're supposed to achieve all the goals, and we need the finance as a vehicle to take us there, but we need innovative ways, okay? The finance is a vehicle or the fuel to pick us to the sustainable development goals. However, in what ways can we optimize these finances channeled or financial channels? And that's where digitization come in. So digitization is really very critical in terms of the SDGs and even sustainable finance. So the intersection between finance, sustainability, and digitization, then we have the innovation, yeah? And without digitization, is going to be very difficult, especially for the marginalized group who don't have, usually don't have identity to accept, business identity or financial identity. You're talking about financial history, financial records to access funding. But the digital platforms like fintechs and blockchains are able to really disrupt this traditional approach or traditional models, okay? So that this marginalized group, which form the majority, in Africa, are able to access funding and also get financially included. For example, let's take mobile money. So mobile money in Africa, especially in Ghana and Nigeria and in Kenya and some part of Africa, has really, really done a lot of job, okay, facilitating receipt and payment of funding from my mother, grandmother in the village. You can receive money at the end of the month. I don't need to travel there. And when this thing is happening over time, you realize that she is building what you call banking history or financial history and digital identity at the same time. So for a space of 2 years or whatever, X amount of years, she now has a history. He has a bank account, so to speak, or mobile money account, and has financial records. And if he's doing some kind of a business, he can now go for funding. So these platforms are really, really changing the games here to really disrupt the traditional approach of funding. And without this platform, I'm afraid it is very, very difficult. Let's talk about even, for example, the renewable energy, where I am really doing a lot of stuff there for the solar companies. There are people in the last mile communities who don't have access to energy, and they don't have the means to buy energy. And we have the solar to them, and there is a financing model, pay-as-you-go model. The pay-as-you-go model, you are able to get the solar device to this person in the village, a farmer in the village, and it is being powered by a fintech platform where he is able to buy, if you like, a credit of a sort to be able to access this light or to use this light. And at the end of the period, he's able to own the device, him or herself. So without this type of platform, that fintech platform, the PayGo, as I'm mentioning, you may need to buy it or own it outright or upfront, which is very expensive for a marginal community or a marginal person to own a solar device. But with the PayGo, you are able to get this item or get a device and use it as and when you go. That's why I call it PayGo. So to sum it up, these platforms are very vital, and it really, these platforms speed up. If you like, these are the speed that is given to the achievement of sustainable development goals.
Thank you. And I think it's very interesting the way that you are applying this to where you are working. I mean, the projects you are focused on now in renewable energy, electricity, and stuff like that. And I think also for us, most of our audience, they're in different other industries. But one of the key things, I know we're about to end now, but if, as you are concluding, I think one of the interesting things, I think some of this audience of ours and even other people that have probably just met us or participated in this event is this impact investing or green money, so to speak, and all of that. Where is the best or how best can one access it? Thompson is just one of them that we are rewarding entrepreneurs, but how best can one find these avenues or opportunities to access such financing for their projects or startups or even existing companies just around the world, but maybe if you are to be more specific in Africa, perhaps.
Okay. So first of all, like I mentioned, you need to align your operations with the SDG goals. And then also, you may also develop your own customized ESG framework or policies and set your own achievable goals. Okay. So for example, you can say that for gender inclusion, your staff, the people that you work with, you need to have about 50 or 30% of them being female or women, or 20% of them being people with disability. That is you are fulfilled as one part of the social inclusive aspect. Yeah. And then another way you can do so is to scout the market to find out, because like we mentioned, there are a lot of them on the internet. Okay, you just type any green finance or ESG funding available, and we have even some kind of they call it robo advisors online that is able to give you what type of green or ESG funds that are available here or there, and gives you all the permutations and stuff like that. Yes, so first of all, align your operations, develop your ESG framework yourself, and then also have a competent team, people who are serious or appear to be serious, okay? Because, for example, for the project I work on, when we receive this proposal, we do what we call due diligence. For last week and 2 hours in Abuja, we do due diligence, we meet the team that you have proposed, and we interact with them. Do they have necessary skill and competence to receive the funding you are requesting for? This is very, very important, okay? And then also stay informed about the trending issues or the trending news in the sustainable finance or the ESG funding industries, leveraging technology or leveraging internet, okay? So when you follow the LinkedIn, Facebook, you get some of these things, splash over there, and you have to just check it out and see how you can, apply one or two, and you are good to go. There are a lot of money there now, but companies are not ready to receive them.
Yeah, this is very, very insightful. And I don't know if you noticed, indirectly, you did hit on all the topics of today. You hit on competencies and skills, which is education. You hit on the enterprise itself, which is one of the pillars for today. You hit on channels of communication and finding those opportunities digitally online, which is the media side. And then, of course, we talked about the actual finances. So it's interesting how indirectly you've hit all the pillars that we talked about today to sum it up. And I think on that note, we are going to conclude, but any final words, maybe how people can know more about the work that you do, the projects that you pursue, and all that, maybe collaboration-wise and etc. But any final words also that you have in the next 2 minutes, sir.
Okay, so I would say that companies or young people who now spend a lot of time on the internet have a lot of opportunity now because of the SDG and the role digitization is playing. Okay, so if you have a bundle of for internet, don't only use it on TikTok for entertainment only, which is good, just to at least ease some kind of tension. But you can use it productively. Okay, you can use it productively to assess several information, including funding, also receive some kind of education or training, even like the program you're organizing, and you can make good use of it. And within some few years ahead of you, you can really make, because in Africa these days, a lot of the youth really want to do something, they want to achieve, want to be prominent people in the society. However, most times they want it the short way. But I think we are in the age where digitization has placed in your hand a very big tool, okay? And you can sit at the comfort of your home and still make good amount of money, or naira, or whatever you call it, and you got good to go. For our project, we are looking at young entrepreneurs who are really trying to invest in renewable energy, solar technologies, so that people that don't have access to electricity in rural Nigeria, they are able to access that. And we issue grants in the ranges of $10,000 to $250,000 to these companies who have innovative solar ideas, and we support them from startup to the growth stage. We support them also with training so that they are able to extend renewable energy, solar energy, to this last mile community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And I think for any of this conversation beyond this platform now, or more information, I think you are most active maybe on the LinkedIn, and maybe through that LinkedIn page, admin, if we can post it in the chat box, and then maybe other websites for your projects and your ventures, so that people can know more about what you're doing, but also continue the conversation off here. So thank you very much, Mr. Samuel Kojo Darko. He's a financial specialist / consultant, and also working on the ECOWAS Regional Off-Grid Electricity Access Project. Thank you very much for being here. And on that note, we've reached the end of all panel discussions for the day on the topic of education, enterprise, media, finance, but also all of it, we had to bring an angle of technology and also an angle of sustainability into it to make it wholesome.